What is happening, everybody? It is your boy Blake, Money Mayweather. Welcome to another episode of Loaded Joe's MMA podcast. I'm your host, Blake Money Blake. How y'all guys doing? Let's give a quick shout out to our sponsor, UFC Gym Austin, 512-292-1900. Hit them up, all your fitness needs. Anytime you're here in Austin, you're coming down, shoot me a message. Let's come train. Let's come kick ass. If you're living in the Austin area, go hit them up, 512-292-1900. Fitness, boxing, MMA. They're about to have the Viking Ninja training that was formerly at the Onnit Gym. Check these guys out, man. These guys are amazing. Get a few free classes when you mention you're a fan of Loaded Joe's. Hit them up. They're always running monthly promotions. How you guys doing? Been a while since we've chatted. Of course, my boy Connor won. Shout outs to Connor. So happy about that. I broke down that fight. If you haven't gone to listen to the previous Loaded Joe's episode, go check that one out. Conor McGregor. What did we learn from Conor at UFC 246? Broke down a lot of things. And I'm about to break down this. I'm not going to break down this card. I'm going to be honest with you. Fuck this card. UFC 247 is not that. I don't know what the fuck is going on. But I started stepping back and I started thinking about it. And I don't know what's going on with the UFC, I should say. I don't know what the hell's going on. These cards used to be fucking stacked as fuck. We used to watch the cards, not even just for the main event. Sometimes main event was like, meh. But like the whole card would be fucking like popping. Now it's kind of like just like Pam Anderson in the 90s, right? Just real top heavy. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I don't like that. There's a reason, like, I love MMA and I love UFC, you know, hell, even Bellator. A lot of the times, the whole card is fucking popping. But it seems like now they're taking more or less a boxing model approach. And what do I mean by that, Blake? Blake, what the hell are you talking about? Boxing model approach. Let me explain. The boxing model approach is making the card top heavy, where you probably got a good main event, like some guys that you know the names of these fighters. You might get lucky in the third fight down. You might have a guy you know. A lot of times you don't. A lot of times it's the headliner, co-headliner, and then the rest of the card is like, meh. And you watch it expecting to see maybe a name you once knew or some up-and-coming motherfuckers. So I was thinking about it like that. I was thinking about it like this. If UFC wants to go for a boxing model, and we're kind of taking some notes from boxing, kind of shifting into MMA, I started, you guys know I'm a huge boxing fan, right? What's my nickname? Money who? Weather? Money what? Money. Oh, Money Blake Weather, right? Yeah. Kind of took that from Money Mayweather, old Floyd Mayweather. But So I'm a huge boxing fan. And I kind of started thinking about this fight. And I'm only going to talk about one fight. And that's going to be the Jon Jones, Dominic Reyes fight. The headlining fight. Now, a lot of people are going to break down this fight. They're going to break down this card, even though it's a shitty fucking card. They don't want to. Like, here's the thing, man. I'm not going to front with you. I know you're not going to. This is not the podcast. This is the podcast you're listening to come, and you want me to hype up a fucking card that, ain't got shit going for it, God bless you. Let's go find another podcast. This ain't it. I'm going to keep it 100 with you. And yes, there's some good fights, right? But come on. Let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? This is not that strong of a card. And you'll hear that everywhere. You hear people talking saying this is not that strong of a card, but then they'll still break it down. Because that's what they're forced to do. Here on Loaded Joe's, we can do whatever the hell we want. So what I'm going to do is when I started looking back and I started thinking, man, if I'm going to compare, if we're going to, let's do some boxing comparisons, right? Like let's look at this. Let's look at MMA with the boxing filter on there. And when I started stepping back and thinking about it, there was one blatant thing that sticks out. And that is, to me, Jon Jones is the Floyd Mayweather of UFC/MMA. Really, he's undefeated. We all know about the Matt Hamill loss. The one loss is on his record. We all think that should. Let's all agree. Let's all set some precursing boundaries, some starting points, so that way we can have a a starting place for a topic. We all agree that loss to Matt Hamill fucking bullshit, right? Cheers to that. Cheers to this Basil Hayden. Oh, that shit's so smooth. Basil Hayden whiskey. Go get you some. We all agree that's bullshit. I think we all agree Jon Jones is his biggest enemy. I think we all agree that Jon Jones' outside the ring antics and personality are the reason that a lot of people don't like him. It has nothing to do with his fighting academia inside the cage. Probably, in fact, nothing. Inside of that ring, we all really know. Let's kind of agree. He's kind of undefeated. So we walk forward with that. We all know Jon Jones' IQ, phenomenal. His fight IQ is out of this fucking world. He's not the strongest fighter. He doesn't have like the one punch KO power that everybody else in the division or there's up and comers or people that have fought before him have. It's not him. He's not the Chuck Liddell. He's not the, who else was a one hitter guy type? I guess Rampage. People that came before him, right? Him. Who else is a one hitter dude? Kind of more recently, maybe like when Glover was coming up, everybody, Glover got the one hitter quitter. People like that. Even I guess Anthony Smith coming up, Thiago Santos, and now the guy he's gonna fight, Dominic Reyes. Right? This guy's got like one hitter power. It's fucking insane. Volkan Ozdemir, he still has some power, right? But he's not that. He's not a one hitter guy. He's a guy that fights creative. He uses his experience. Of course, he uses his length. I mean, why wouldn't you? And his ring IQ, though, is what everybody seems to just ooze over. Oh, my God, That's what they join out the mouth for Jon Jones for. So when you make that comparison, he is the Floyd Mayweather of his sport. Floyd Mayweather, obviously undefeated. Long into... he turned 40? He was 40, 41 when he fought Conor. And everybody knows he wasn't the one-hitter puncher that he was when he was coming up in weight, And your power kind of fades as you go higher up in weight classes. It's just the thing. But one thing we about Floyd is his ring IQ. Long into when his career was, keep going, past his 30s into his, early 40s. We'll call it late 30s, early 40s, right? Later into his career. That never faded. He stuck with him his whole career, and it got him an undefeated record. And again, same similarity with Jon Jones. You don't hate Floyd for what he does inside of the ring. You hate him for what he does outside of the ring. More people don't. People dislike him. They think he's cocky. He's arrogant. He's got this, problems with the law and shit like that. This is all comparisons to Jon Jones, to be quite honest. If you really studied Floyd, like you should really study Jones, you have no problems with him inside of the ring, except for like sometimes he fights a little too conservative. Maybe a little too, safe. And you got every right to do that as a champion. A fight goes two ways. A fight is a two-way street. If you don't like something I'm doing, stop me. And if you can't stop me, well, I'm going to keep doing it until I win. But the fact that I can even do that in the first place, or if you do change your game, I can do that in the second place. That's talent right there. That's something. Whew, that's something creative. That's something beautiful right there. So as we kind of keep going into this narrative, this comparison I'm making, I want to get to where we're going to be, which is 247. But let's even dig this a little bit more. I think this really was blatant to me when Jones fought Anthony Smith, and Anthony Smith is super powerful. His kid's got, this, that, and he's up and coming, and he's got a few losses, right? But he's this tatted, hard-hitting kid, knock your ass out. He can take a few shots. He can kind of go into deep waters, but he'll take a few hits, and then he'll come back and he'll just knock your ass out. Or he'll bum rush you, and he's tough and tough tatted and iron chin. Floyd's fought somebody like that. His name was Marcos Maidana. Tough tatted, hard nosed, hard chinned, with hard hands. known for knocking people out, known for taking a punch or two, still standing and bum rushing you, and yeah, that was his MO. Like that, you see what I'm saying? Like there's some comparisons even in the opponents. So that gets us. I mean, I don't want to have to keep going through all the opponents, but that's where it one stuck out to me. So I want to look at this. I want to look at this fight, and I started thinking, you know, if Anthony Smith is the Maidana, well, it would be the DC is the Manny Pacquiao to Floyd Mayweather. Manny Pacquiao is to Floyd Mayweather what DC is to Jones. This rivalry, this heated rivalry, this nice guy versus this person who has trouble outside of the ring and trouble with the law and yada yada yada. People hate him. He's too arrogant. Wins too much and whatever, right? So when they fought, people very conflicted, just like when Floyd fought Manny. Very conflicted. Do you go with the person who always wins and probably going to win, or do you go with the person that's like, he's the dog right there. He's the live dog, and he's got something to prove, and he can take the dude down, and he can do this. He was the hope. He was the hope for all the people that hate all the things that Jon Jones stood for in and out of the ring. That still didn't matter. Just making little comparisons. So now that brings us to Dominic Reyes. And I was thinking about who would Dominic Reyes fit into, right? He's this undefeated, up-and-coming, hard-hitting kid. He's Mexican. So I started thinking back, who's Floyd fought that's hard-hitting, Mexican, kind of lanky, known for knocking motherfuckers out, undefeated, I'm trying to think. So there was the Diego Corrales, right? He fought him. I think he was 33-0 when he fought Floyd. Hard hitting, undefeated, Mexican. He was also Colombian, but he was Mexican. His nickname was Chico. God damn it, And then I thought, no, we can't do that. He's not southpaw. I don't know. And they were both. It was pretty early on in Floyd's career, and maybe is there somebody else? Let me think. Maybe we could do Robert Guerrero. He was, I think, 31-1 when he fought Floyd. He had one loss. Southpaw, Mexican, pretty hard hitting. He loves to get in your face, loves to make the fight grimy, but he can knock you out. He's got power. And I thought, no, I don't know if that's the fight for this, because he had quite a bit of experience still. Even he was still young, but he had some pretty big fights underneath his belt already. And then I thought, well, there is this one guy, and Floyd fought him a little into his career, the last few fights, right? One of his last 6 fights, and that was Saul Canelo Alvarez. Now, Saul at the time, a hard-hitting Mexican, known for his TKO, KO count, known for, this young up-and-coming kid, even though he had like 42 wins, a lot of, in boxing, a lot of them are just kind of, you fight cans, taxi drivers, people who, part-time fighters early on in your career, especially in Mexico. So relatively speaking, Canelo was still very young and a bit inexperienced, and he still had a bit of trouble with some fighters coming up. Austin Trout, right? Like that was a fight right before he fought Floyd. He still had a little trouble here and there. There were some still holes in this game, but overall, he was getting through all the big tests. And here's the comparisons. Let's make them real quick before we take a break. He was an undefeated, hard-hitting Mexican, known for the KO. Again, still early in his career, said all these things. But here's the next key. He fought a lot of guys who fought for a belt. And some of these guys they even went up in weight. They were outside of their weight class. They went up in weight to go fight. They came down in weight, and they were just not at the appropriate weight class. And he disposed of him. So they're building this kid's name off of other people's former name. Oh, this so-and-so fought for the belt. So if Canelo fights him, oh man, he's legit, right? Even though this guy maybe not was the guy that Canelo fought, was once the version of who he was. So that sets us up for what I'm about to get into. On that note, I want to take a quick break, and I'll be right back. And we are back, and I don't think you noticed the difference. So here's where we're at. Again, making the comparison to Jones to Floyd, making the comparisons of some of Jones' opponents to Floyd's opponents. And now we have Dominic Reyes. Again, an undefeated, hard-hitting Mexican known for his KO still early on in his career. And he fought a lot of guys who maybe have even fought for a belt before. Like that right before you fight the main guy. The main, right before you fight the boss who has the belt, right? And he has. OSP, Volkan Oezdemir, Chris Weidman. One of these guys is a former champion. At a different weight class, mind you. But a former champion nonetheless. He's even fought for the belt again. Right? He fought Luke Rockhold, and he's fought for the belt a couple times, right? Luke Rockhold, Anderson Silva. He defended it, Lyoto Machida, right? Like he's, Vitor Belfort, right? Like he's got a name to him. He's got a name about him. Now, this is all, again, all these things I just noted were the same things I noted for Canelo Alvarez. And I'm not going to get into the boxers he fought, but he did fight. I guess I'll get into a few names. You might have heard of a guy named Shane Mosley, right? He fought that guy right before he fought Floyd. Let's see, who else? Shane Mosley. He fought, I believe he fought, Kermit Cintron. Yeah, he did. Kermit Cintron, Carlos Baldemir. So they were starting, Josecito Lopez, a guy outside of his weight class. He was, and then the fight right before he fought Floyd was Austin Trout. Some people don't know him. He did have a belt though. But you see kind of where I'm getting at. Guys with names, guys either had the belt or had been fighting a lot of experienced fights for the belt. Kind of, they're not the versions of what they once were, but they still have a name about them. And if you get that name under your notch, you might be doing something right. Or they're building you up, which is what I believe they're doing and have done very well with Dominic Reyes. And they were trying to do with old Johnny Walker. God. So we have at this point now the only person basically left that Jon Jones can fight at light heavyweight. Maybe he fights Corey Anderson, but who the hell wants to see that fight? I don't really want to see that fight. Sounds fucking boring. And we'll come back here and I'll probably break down some more. I'll probably break down just that fight because that'll be the only fight on that card if they ever fight that'll be worth a goddamn unless they make it a super card. Which please bring those back, UFC. I need those. So let's think about this. And the only comparison I can't make to Dominic Reyes and Canelo is Dominic Reyes seems to fight in a southpaw position. Canelo's an orthodox fighter. But we're going to use the basis of how Floyd fought and beat Canelo to see if we can make an advanced comparison as to how the fight will go, how Jones should approach this fight and win. Really what it amounts down to, and I'll break it down in not so many ways, is power and all this. Power and youth is great. But what you don't have at this point is the experience under the limelight, the experience under the big show, the experience, the ring IQ that we were just talking about, Jon Jones and Floyd Mayweather having, that's just is so sharp. The creativity, the know-how, the knowledge. And one thing Floyd showed well into his career is knowledge beats power. Because knowledge is power. Jones is I think he's the embodiment of that. Especially since he's come back. Yeah, I mean, you saw the Alexander Gustafsson fight. Beat the shit out of him 3 rounds. but fought smarter, fought a fight that where he wasn't making the same mistakes he was in the first fight. Fought Anthony Smith, played a little conservative, but won. He intercepts the weapons, makes you have to reset and rethink and readjust, and it just makes you feel very uncomfortable when somebody kind of does things to thwart off your attack when you think you thought that's what you're going to do. You're going to do A, and he stops A from happening, and you're like, okay, I'm going to do B. He stops B from, I'm going to go back to A, but he already covered A, so you can't do A, you can't do B, you can't do C. Block, everything's all your attacks. You're like, well, I had plan A through E, and fucking Jones is going, plan A through J, LMNOP, QRS. He's playing the whole fucking alphabet. He knows. He's seen it. You think he hasn't fought a guy before who has had power? Yeah, he has. You think he hasn't fought a young guy before? Yeah, he has. Like, he's fought everything. He's seen all these looks. So the way that you fight somebody that is going to come in with aggression, power, youth, experience, ring IQ. And I wouldn't be surprised even if it starts off a little fast-paced. If you notice in the Floyd-Canelo fight, we all expected Canelo to push Floyd back in the first few rounds and kind of Floyd find his groove and then Floyd come after him. Or Floyd start to just, you do what he does best, counter, do the boxing thing. What was funny was the first 4 rounds, Floyd was pushing forward. Floyd fought the game in a way that I don't even think Canelo was expecting. He met him square in the center and then starts just fucking boxing his head off. Fighting in kind of the mid-range, just showing how fast he was, backing him up. What if we see something like that? What if we see something that's unexpected? We're all expecting Dominic Reyes to do what he does best, lateral movement, the 1-1-2 counter, right? And that's what he's backing up. Or to come forward and come try to find you and bring a little bit of pressure on. And he's got some lanky kicks, He's got some leg kicks too. He's got things that can give Jones problems. But what if he met him in the middle? What if Jones started the attack first? What if Jones noticed this lateral movement? Doesn't fall into that trap? What if instead he gives him a few things to think about in the first 2 rounds? Some new combos. Doesn't allow, when you're backing up, you don't have time to kick. When you're moving the opposite lateral direction, so what if Jones starts to 1-2 and then use the right high kick to start pushing Dominic Reyes instead of the way he feels comfortable in going, which is lateral to your power side, to his left, which is your right if you're an orthodox fighter. He likes to circle to that side. He likes to circle to your power side, make you chase him and throw that counter left. But what if Jones pushed him the other way? What if he kicked him the other way? What if he started what do they call it? Using the headlights, right? Try to push him into the headlights of the opposite direction. So now we've taken away the kick, the low kick. He won't have as much power even if you're throwing it. And now we've taken away your left. If you're so good at countering, you take away you take away the angles where those counters come from. Oh man, I'm getting deep. Hang on. Oh. If you're so good with the kick, you take away the moments where you're leading the dance or standing still. You can't stand still with him. He's going to throw the kick. So, man, little John's got them little itty bitty legs, man. You don't want to eat those. So what do you do? What do? You move. You circle, and you try to push him. You try to push him the opposite way that he likes to go. You start to use your experience in ring IQ to disable all of the tools that your opponent thinks that they have, all the advantages. They're bombs. And you sir, are the, what's a bomb disabler? What do they call that motherfucker? I don't know. But you're that. You're the dude that they bring in from the SWAT team. You're disabling, making sure you're cutting the right chords. You've been there before. You know what it takes. While the other opponent's trying to do that to you. But the thing is, And somebody wrote an article about this. It might have been like Kevin Iole or something. When right before Floyd fought Canelo, there was an article that was written about how a lot of these fighters they want the big fight. They want Floyd. They want this. They want I want the limelight. I want this. I want to get all the camera attention. What happens? These cameras are following you more and more than you've ever known before. You know who's used to this? Jon Jones. You're in front of more media than you've ever been before. You know who's used to this? Jon Jones. You're in front of the limelight on the main stage. A lot of pressure. All the more fans than probably you've ever been. You know who's used to this? Jon Jones. What happens when you're in the octagon? And think about like one of those bomb diffuser guys that got to wear the little masks, right? If they breathe in too heavy, their masks fog up. They can't see which fucking cord they need to cut. It's a lot of pressure. Man, am I making the right decision? Do I got to cut the green wire or the blue wire? You got to go through that exercise enough times to be able to know which one to do. Jon Jones has been there. Jon Jones knows the right move to make in the right moment to do whatever he wants to do, to stall the action, whether it's so he can attack. Maybe he might get an attack off, but overall, and again, you're not going to take a shower without getting wet. You're not going to not get hit. But what if Jon Jones, he's the master bomb diffuser. That's him. He's been in that position so many times. He knows what it takes to get the job done. No matter what, he knows what it takes to win. He knows what it takes to defuse the bomb. And this is a lot of metaphors and shit. A lot of people want analyticals and breakdowns. I'm telling you, what Jones is going to do is do all the things. What is the opposite of whatever Dominic Reyes can do? If Dominic Reyes is really good with the left hand, what we do is we disable the left hand. We make him use the right. He's less comfortable with it. He's still probably got power, but let's keep that hand busy. Let's kick it. Let's grab it. I wouldn't be surprised if John even grabs the front hand of Dominic Reyes, so that way Reyes is forced to throw the left when he doesn't want to, and he goes in for body locks, goes in for clinches, takes him down. I've seen Jones practicing a bit of jiu-jitsu more often. Huh. Maybe that's something. Right? Maybe that's something. Jon Jones has a nice double leg. Jon Jones has a nice body lock. You need to get close. You either need to get close, and when you're not close, what you need to be doing is disruptions. Like my boy Robin Black says, you disrupt the attack. Disrupt the attack. Smother the attack. Get the attacker either moving the way that they don't want to while they're on the feet, or you get them down. I don't know if Jones can finish this fight, and if he does, it's going to be in one of those precarious positions where it's like, he's trying to take him down, catches him on the exit, right? He's exiting as Reyes is exiting in a clinch, or on the ground. What's likely going to happen is it'll be a decision, and Reyes will get outclassed, much of what Floyd does. But expect the first round or two to be something maybe different than we've either seen before or are expecting. If you're Dominic Reyes, you got to do what got you to the dance. And you're expecting to fight the Jon Jones you've been watching the last two fights. And one of the things I've been saying is, what if Jon Jones has been pulling the wool over our eyes the whole time and fighting a certain way? Either because he's bored or because it makes us talk about, man, I don't know, this new Jones, right? The safe Jones. He's not the old hungry Jones. I mean, this guy could catch him the way the Jones fight now. What if he's doing that just to make us say that? Just to sell this fight a little bit more. I don't know. That's a bit, I guess, into a bit conspiracy theory, right? But you get what I'm saying. But think about it. We're looking at this through a boxing filter. And back to the Kevin Iole article, he talked about it. All these opponents, they want the shine, they want the glimmer, they want the glam. But when they get there, they always dissolve under the pressure. And that's what's going to happen with Dominic Reyes. He's going to dissolve under the pressure. Everything is going to be a lot of too much. He's talks hungry. Everybody talks hungry on the way up. But now, you know, spotlight's on you, homie. Let's see what you can do. But if Jon Jones is the Floyd Mayweather of our sport, of UFC, of MMA. He shouldn't have a problem. Have a little faith in old Jones. And let's see if any of what I said is true. I could just be getting real metaphysical in this bullshit. But I'm coming at it from this boxing angle because that's what the sport seems to be wanting to do. So thank y'all so much for hearing me ramble, hearing me talk. I enjoyed thinking about this one and kind of looking at it from this angle. If you guys want to check out again the previous episode about this, I did dig into Conor McGregor and point out a whole bunch of things we learned from him. So go back and look at that. Of course, I host Unfiltered Bachelor, a dating and relationship podcast, where we recently had Lutrition, who's Jon Jones' coach, his weight management coach for UFC 247. So, man, it was a hell of an episode. So you guys can catch that. I know everybody's not all in their feels and dating and shit, and I get it. But yeah, go check that out. You might like it. But yeah, go ahead and follow the podcast. iTunes, Stitcher. We're on Spotify, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, shit. Follow it on iTunes, Instagram, Facebook. Wow. Twitter. You can follow me, Money Blakeweather. Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook. I had a lot of fun with this one. Look forward to seeing what magic happens at UFC 247 on the main event. And until the next time, I'll be seeing you folks. Peace.